All right, good afternoon again, Dr. Corson. So we are recording another segment so that we can talk about, okay, so first of all, I'll reintroduce that this video is about Juice Plus, the Juice Plus company, and how it allows me to fulfill my possibility of thriving neighborhoods and healthy families and wealthy families, right? And it's not about like a get rich quick, right? Most people, I think, it would make a difference if they had an additional 250 to $1,500 a month, and that is feasible and possible by doing things that bring families together, in my opinion. I think it's cool to me, for me and my culture and community. People talk a lot about turning up. And for me, I feel like the turn up with the family is great. When you can turn up with your family because you guys are making money together, because you're having a soup in a jar party together, because you're having a salad in a jar party, a burrito in a jar party. When you're really getting together, your children can be a part of it. They don't need to be shooed away. They don't have to be in the room with the door closed because everybody out here is doing something that the children can't be around. Everyone can be together, right? Everyone can be all together and can be learning together. And I have experienced the blessing of nutritional education, being in the Juice Plus company and having to happen to have a friend who was an incredible doctor of 50 years, Yale graduated. You don't have to be a doctor, but she certainly brings a level of credibility for people who really think they've got this thing licked because they feel like they eat clean and they have a good diet. And it's important to have that, right? We talk about how Juice Plus fills in the gaps. And one of the things that I like to talk to people about is the ripeness of the fruits and the vegetables when it's harvested to go into those functional food powders versus what we get in the grocery store. So, can you speak to that? The difference when it's picked at ripeness, the nutritional quality and what it does for the body versus food that is picked before it's ripe and it's ripening on the truck. And sometimes you go in the grocery store and you see the lemon is still kind of green, or you see the mangoes really hard, the avocado is really hard, and you feel like you have to ripen it at home, and it doesn't have that flavor. It's not as sweet. So, what difference does it make if the fruit is ripe or not, if the vegetable's fully ripened or not, when it's picked, or when it's harvested, I should say, and when we consume it?
Yeah, it really is a big difference because Mother Nature planned it where for plants that we eat, and especially things that are the fruits, and the berries, that they taste right. They taste excellent when they are fully mature, but that's also the marker for the nutritional things that they're giving us or able to give us. So we know for sure over many years that when they're picked too early, they're missing a lot of those molecules, those health giving molecules that protect our blood vessels, our immune system, our gut. Those things are missing. They're not in the quantity that they are when. If you give it that time to fully mature. The problem with our food system, we've got several problems that are big, but one of them is that we tend to truck things a long way, 2 or 3 thousand miles. And that means you can't pick it right because it won't survive the travel.
Mm.
And therefore, it has to be picked early. So it's a big problem because we need to pay for that, all the work and all the transportation, the fuel costs. But it's a pale shadow of what we could have if it's grown, let's say, in our own garden, if we have access to a garden, or in a community garden, if we have access to a community garden. And again, that's only part of the season. It's not year round in most of the United States. It can't be year round. Maybe if you have good greenhouses, but all of this is important stuff, but it requires a lot that's beyond most individuals or families' capabilities. So Juice Plus, this plant concentrate product, is not instead of eating. It is specifically to bridge the huge gap. It's a bigger gap than most of us realized
Right.
between the best flat out that we can do every day long term, between that best place we can be and where our body really needs to be today. The very best we can do, but where we really need to be is way up here in terms of plant nutrition to protect our body. and to help our body repair every day. So that's the role of Juice Plus, is filling that very big gap. And so what our company did, it's not my company, but it's a company that I'm so lucky friends told me about when I needed it
Right.
25 years. It's been 25 years for me now.
Yeah.
The product has been there for 33 years, and the company itself is 55 years old. It's such a reputable company with high integrity. But what they've did, what they did was they've contracted with small farmers. These are not big agribusiness, small farmers, many of them family farms. Some of them have been in the same generations in the same family,
Mhm.
to grow this produce. Most of them are single crop experts. So you have your cranberry farmers up in Maine, you have your orange farmers in California and Florida, your kale farmers in the Midwest. They tend to be single crop experts, and they love growing for the Juice Plus company because this company will buy their entire crop if it's top quality. And these farmers plan for top quality anyway. That's their whole goal. The
Mhm.
most nutritious seeds, these are grown to very high standards that are stricter than organic. It's beyond organic and tested many, many more times than organic is tested.
Mhm.
So it's not just testing the soil, yes, but testing the produce itself at least 5 times before it goes into the capsule form. So it's more, it's cleaner than organic, and I'm a big organic proponent.
Yes,
Um,
you are.
yeah. So it when these farmers grow their crops all the way mature, they are then harvesting those at peak of ripeness, which you cannot do when you're trucking, simply can't be done, and washing them. And then on their premises, they have the means to crush this produce and crush it very finely, intentionally, so that it's pre-digested, easy to digest. And they're breaking down the cell wall of the plants so that nutrition is released, but they're also not throwing out all that fiber. So even though it's called Juice Plus, it's superior to juicing by far, because they're crushing the whole plant with the
Right.
skin, the seeds, the peel. There's so much nutrition in there.
Yeah.
And then when they remove that water, the process does not bring along the sugar and salt. So there's almost no sugar and salt in there, which is a very special gift. I call it. I call that the pluses in Juice Plus: the absence of a sugar load, the absence of a mineral or a salt load. You're not getting a ton of potassium and sodium, and we can get those minerals from our normal foods that we eat, but
Right.
this is giving a concentrate of those plant molecules that help our body run better and heal better on a daily basis. So
That's
it's
great.
pretty special. We're
It's
really
very
happy we
special.
found it.
Yes, yes, it made a big difference for us, especially when it came to allergies and asthma in our household. I love animals, period. Everyone knows me that. And after my whole life, I remember I discovered I had an allergic reaction to cats. Being at a friend's house, I was around 7 or 8 years old, and I'm talking about the face breaking out, the breathing impacted, the whole nine. So I really couldn't ever have a cat as a pet that I could, be affectionate with and things like that, because I would have the reaction to the cat. And I rescued this cat a couple of summers ago, and she was a beautiful short-haired cat. And I was amazed that I did not have any allergic reactions to this cat. And I remember when you explained to me how that happened. You don't have to explain that now, but I'm just saying you explained that to me, how that happened. And it really has been amazing. My son didn't get the croup. My children all got the croup. They had the croupy season when they were young. And with this last baby, he was fortunate to have Juice Plus when he was still really young. And the first thing that I noticed was that he didn't get the croup. And then my son, who was really born with a compromised upper respiratory issues, noticed that when my Juice Plus started disappearing. I was like, who's taking my Juice Plus? And it was my older adult child. And this was before it was free for them. So when it comes to, my work, to me in the community, Juice Plus helps me to fulfill that work by empowering parents. I work in the coaching space, so I love to be able to couple this. I love bridging the Juice Plus company with the possibility that I am creating, and then living into the future of the realization of, for parents, young people, and children. So can you speak to the Our Healthy Starts program?
I love that program so much, Sarita. That's how I got started 25 years ago. My husband and I were eating pretty well. And, not that we were any better than anyone else, but we had both grown up in families that were a little bit closer to the earth, that, had a little garden
Yeah.
and, immigrant grandparents. And we just, we were just raised, I wasn't allowed to have sugar when I was little and things like that. But as we got older, my husband really became a really good cook and would cook healthy food when he was an intern and a resident and take it to the hospital, put it in the refrigerator. I never had that kind of discipline, so I would just eat as I went and wonder why I felt so very terrible at the end of my very long shift, 36-hour shift, and I would end up feeling pretty horrible. Yes, sleep deprivation, yes, coffee, but a lot of it was, cafeteria food and me seeing that donut and, I need something. And
Yeah.
I learned the hard way that, doesn't pay well for your health. But long story short, we were doing well, pretty well. And we had four little boys, and they had to eat what we ate because they weren't old enough to drive anywhere or borrow a car or anything. But everything changed when our two youngest boys were in middle school, and their school needed to install vending machines to get a little money for the sports program. It's a little school, it didn't have a big endowment, and that's how they did it, was they installed the vending machines. And that's what changed my career, watching the kids, including mine, basically stop eating any plants they had eaten. They stopped eating them the first week. And this was 25 years ago. Now, I found out quickly because I would always bring my kids, cut up apples and peanut butter and, celery and stuff in the car as a snack when I pick them up. And they didn't need it anymore. They didn't want it anymore. Just like that. No, we
Like
don't need
that.
it. We don't want it.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure out that vending machines were in the school now. Pepsi, Reese cups,
Mm,
Twix, etc.
mm.
And
All my old days.
yeah, and we didn't know all the things then, and we're still learning. All of us are still learning in the field of medicine and health and wellness. But
Yeah.
what we know now is what we feed ourselves is what we feed the germs in our gut, and they are
Mm,
super important.
yeah.
Super important. So people talk about a healthy gut. That's exactly right. People talk about leaky gut. That's a huge problem. People talk about the microbiome, which is that environment there with those combination of good germs and bad germs, thousands of different kinds, and
Mhm.
they should be there with a balance of the good guys in charge. The good guys should be in charge. And those good guys, the good germs, they bring down our inflammation throughout our whole body, throughout our brain, our blood vessels are everywhere. They repair leaky gut. These good germs, they eat plant foods. That's their preferred food is plant foods with fibers in them. So your apples, your spinach, your carrots, you get the idea.
Mhm.
And that's what had changed is that our kids were all feeding these germs, the Reese cups, the Twix, Twinkies at that time still existed, the Pepsi and so forth. And it changes fast.
Mm,
And what
mm,
happened is my 15-year-old got a couple of rounds of bronchitis with a couple of rounds of antibiotics, no plant foods coming in. Boom. Now he had asthma for the first time in his life at age
mm,
15. At age
mm,
15, never had it before. Now he's got exercise-induced asthma. And our youngest one developed acne that was moderately severe and came to me one day and said, Mom, would you write me a prescription for antibiotics for my acne?
mm,
Because my friends are taking antibiotics for their acne. And that was it. I knew I had to find something better for my children. And
mhm,
that's when I found Juice Plus, a new friend who was a longtime cancer survivor herself, shared this with me, and it just made sense, especially with the kids being free. So my husband and I started it just to get our children attached for free. We thought we didn't need it, but we knew it was safe, completely safe, safe for pregnancy, safe for everybody, safe for athletes, safe for elderly.
mm,
Um, we just knew it was safe, and we knew there was research on it that I liked. It showed a better immune system, more balanced, working better, less damage to our own DNA inside of our cells,
yeah.
better repair. And I thought, well, we've got to have it for our kids, and the kids won't take it anyway if the parents aren't using it.
Yeah.
Mo- It's a very rare child that would take something that their parents aren't taking as far as food. So that's what we did, and we were really faithful about it every day. The kids wouldn't take it at first. That's a whole other interesting story how I got them to do that. But I can share that whenever you want. But as we were very faithful with it, within about 6 or 7 months, the changes were so wonderful
Yeah.
that my husband and I did not expect. Our health was stronger, each in our own way, because we're different, but our physiology, how the body works, was working better.
Mhm.
And for me, that's the last time I ever needed an antibiotic for bronchitis in 25 years now,
Yeah.
or an inhaler either. And that's huge. The
Yeah.
savings on
Yes,
that
it is.
is huge.
Yes, it is.
Our 15-year-old cleared his asthma. He didn't need an inhaler anymore after about 3 months. And our son with acne, his skin cleared completely, beautiful to beautiful, healthy skin in about 7 months.
Hmm.
And that's been 25 years. Both of them became, I would say, health conscious in a happy way, not an obsessed way. A
Yeah.
happy, they learned so much through that experience. And they're, of course, they're grown-ups now. Um, they take really good care of themselves and they're on Juice Plus. And the ones who have kids, their kids are on the free program now.
Yeah.
So that free program runs through age 25. So it's age 4 through 25.
Yeah. That's
And
amazing.
that means they can take it until they're 26 years old for free. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's really amazing. And people, to me, they're always looking for the catch. Oh, yeah, that's really generous. What's the catch? What's the catch? And when you really discover, like when I started going to the conferences, when I started meeting people, in the company, and then first of all, when you ever join our team and you go, you'll see that everyone loves Dr. Corson. Everyone
Oh,
loves.
I thought you were going to say everyone loves everybody, which is true.
Everybody
That's what I
does love
thought.
everybody, but everybody loves Dr. Corson. And so it's really the corporate culture is that way. And so when your corporate culture, like when you are a reflection of the corporate culture, then this is the real deal. This is something that, and for me, I really want to shift the conversations from fear-based choices and fear of missing out choices and pressure and into what makes sense for you, what feels good to you. Does it feel good to you, the idea that you could give something to your children that is really just the food? There's nothing, no preservatives, no junk, it's really just literally functional food in a capsule. And the opportunity to be able to generate that extra income as a family to me is extraordinary. And when I look at the foundation that you need for any community is really the family. It's the individual. It's a person being able to operate from wholeness. And so, I coach in the world of emotional wellness and holistic transformation, and Juice Plus is certainly a part of that, not only just for me, but also for my clients. And the benefit of then it just spreads. It spreads from there. So to me, it's a healthy revolution. It's the greatest act of love to me that you can give to yourself is to take care of yourself. It is to self-care. It is to self-preserve. And then you have something to give from your overflow. So, and that shifts us out of survival. And so this can be a vehicle that we can use to really shift out of survival and into thriving, into wellness, and operating from wholeness. And so thank you so much, Dr. Corson. I appreciate you being with me, and I'll see you guys on the next video.